Teachers, parents, students all did their best when school became distance learning earlier this year, but research shows the impact of this disruption could be massive. The average student could fall 7 months behind by the time school starts back up next summer. And it's even worse for minority students. So we wanted to get a little bit of perspective on this from local education expert Christina Woodall. She's here to talk about how the situation may pan out and what we can do to help. Christina, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain how this research has shown what kind of impact this could have on students?
Absolutely. So, like you were mentioning, this research found that the average student could fall 7 months behind by the time school restarts in August. And that's even higher for students of color. So they showed that Black children lost 10 months of education and Latino students fell behind 9 months. And with Austin schools and surrounding districts adopting blended models of online and in-person learning in the fall, students are at risk of losing even more. And, this pandemic has been difficult for everyone, but educators have really had to create a whole new set of lesson plans and kind of turn on the dime to try and help their students and parents, and that hasn't been easy.
I know Round Rock ISD announced this morning that they have gotten some money to kind of help in this situation with some of the families that don't have access to computer technology or even internet. Does that explain some of the disparity that we're seeing and why it could impact some students more than others?
Absolutely. So many of us take our access to the internet for granted, but lots of people who live in rural areas or who don't have the money for those kinds of utilities are falling behind because they just can't keep up. So school districts that are taking measures to try and combat that is a great thing. But we found that even 1 in 5 of the school districts required live teaching over video this end of the past school year. So there's still a lot to catch up on. And, it's a totally new shift for teachers. So they're having to rethink how they do things as well. So there's going to be bumps along the road there too.
Tough too when you even have multiple kids, which I know you have 2 young ones yourself. Let's talk a little bit about that adjustment for even working parents and their students, this whole shift of learning from home and kind of separating home life with school life.
Yes, it is definitely a challenge. Like you said, I have 2 little ones at home, and it has been difficult for us to figure out which parent's going to be on, who's going to be trying to cover new topics and concepts, because part of the issue is that kids really need to have direct instruction for a lot of skills, and they need to have their skills reinforced through repetition. And that can be hard to replicate at home when you're not in a classroom environment and you don't have the constant attention of a teacher who has been trained, especially with Common Core. A lot of math and science is being taught much differently than it was when parents were in school several years ago.
I can totally relate to that. Well, hopefully we'll have some more lessons and more plans in the works for us come this summer. Christina, we appreciate your help and your insight, and appreciate all the efforts that everybody's making to keep our kids learning. Thanks so much for joining us today.